friends, it's me, Amy Rebecca, your internet bestie for all things personal development, intentional living and dream chasing. I'm very much just your average girl who's trying to budget, save and get on top of her financial situation. So today I have my September budget with me video. October, help me, what's happening? Like, as if it's not obvious. There are literally pumpkins everywhere. You open a cupboard in this house, pumpkins fall on you at the moment. So yeah, welcome to my October budget with me video. I know this is coming to you a little bit late, but let me tell you, September, chaos. I went away to Transylvania for my birthday, and when I came back I got the flu. I went away with my family for a long weekend with the flu. It was one of those like out in the woods adventure holidays. I had to go on the high ropes. I was paddleboarding with vertigo. 10 out of 10, do not recommend. And then I came home from that trip and I had 3 days where I just slept in bed all day, and then I went to Poland and I got back 2 days ago. I'm still a little bit sniffly, not feeling like my best self, but certainly much better than the corpse I was last week. So today we're going to be doing the usual, reflecting back on what I spent last month, setting out my budget for this month, taking a little sneak peek into my side hustle challenge, which as I say that I realized I have not totaled those numbers up. So I'm gonna need to take a sneaky break and do that now. But before we get into like the main crux of the video, I wanted to share something with you for no reason. This was sent to me in PR, but I don't have to show this to you. Like, I'm doing it of my own volition because it's just that good. Everyone here knows that I am a coffee girly. Okay, this is my second cup of the day, and last year during my monthly reset like budgeting videos I would do coffee of the month, and I stopped doing it because I don't think anyone cared. But I'm going to show you this coffee because it's incredible. It's by London Nootropics and it's mushroom coffee. I know that sounds gross, I know it sounds weird. Trust me, if I go somewhere and they have like a mushroom coffee option, that is what I will go for because it's meant to be good for your brain. This is made of pure natural ingredients, vegan, it's made in the UK, sustainable packaging, like all the stuff we love. These little sachets of coffee have 10 grams of protein. I am sold. But yeah, it's really tasty. I'm not even gonna lie to you, it's pricey for coffee, I think. Like, one of these boxes with 12 sachets is £15, and I know you can get like a month's supply of coffee from Lidl for like £2.50, I am aware. But just like, if you really want to treat yourself, or if you're buying a Christmas gift for a coffee lover, as a coffee lover, I would love this as a gift. Again, no one has paid me to say that. I am not obligated to tell you about that, but I really like it. Okay, now on to why we're actually here. Welcome. 15 minutes in. Let me pull up my budgeting spreadsheet and we can take a look at what I spent last month, the month of chaos as it will heretofore be known. As always, I'm using the CoPlenty budgeting spreadsheet. I think it's the 3.0 version and I love it. I can keep tabs on everything with this, and I'll leave that in the description box down below with a little affiliate link where you can get some money off. So September, look at her go. I walked away with money left over. I had so many expenses right at the start of September because I got some bougie friends, okay, and everyone was like, hey, you want to go to the theatre, hey, you want to go to the ballet, hey, you want to spend £65 to go see Muppets Christmas Carol. Yes, of course I do, but it's expensive. So I already had all those expenses laid out at the start of the month, so my budget was significant. Help me! My budget was significantly reduced going into the month, and yet I still walked away with £19.25. Having the flu and not being able to leave my bed probably helped in that. Okay, so let's go through and take a look at my expenses for the month and where all that money went. Okay, groceries, I budgeted £10 and only spent £2.75. I'm gonna say it because if I don't, someone's gonna be in the comments losing their mind. That £2.75 is not everything I ate and drank, obviously, throughout the month of September, but these are just top-up groceries. Eating out, I budgeted 20 and I spent 0. Technically, that is a lie. While I was away with my family, we ate out twice, and I just now, as I'm doing this, realize I didn't pay my parents back for that, so I'm gonna do that today. Petrol, budgeted 0, spent 2 pence. That's because I still had money left from last month in my petrol cash stuffing wallet, so I didn't have to put any additional money towards that except for 2 pence. Hard to like get that little nozzly thing to land right on the 0, but isn't it such a thrill when you get it and it's like exactly £50? I have a really boring life. Car maintenance, budgeted £67.47. £17.47, spent £17.47. Technically that's not true because I cash stuffed the rest into a sinking fund. Look, I've said this before, as I've gone throughout the year, this is my first year using this version of the Core Plenty budgeting spreadsheet. There are few little things that I've added, and like the way I've set it out, that I'm like, oh, it's a little bit clunky, the way that I've input my data, that I'm going to change for next year. But we live and learn, and that's one of the things, is that I have my like sinking funds separate from my budget, and sometimes it's confusing, but trust me, it all works out in the end. Gifts, I cash stuffed 30, health cash stuffed 35 for my contact lenses, beauty treatments 50, partly on my nails, and the rest is like still in my sinking fund. But look at these nails, they're tiny ghosts and I am obsessed with them. And you know what, every day I'm looking at these nails and they bring me so much joy, and I think it's worth it. I do spend a lot of money on getting my nails done across the year, but the joy these little ghosts have brought me, worth it. Clothing, spent £0. Makeup, budgeted £4 and spent £15.99. Your guess is as good as mine. I know I bought an eyebrow pencil. I must have bought a foundation. That would add up. Skincare, budgeted £0, spent £0. Hair care, budgeted £12 and spent £0, because I used my Boots points to get my shampoo. Toiletries, budgeted £0, spent £0. Books, budgeted £0, spent £0. Takeaways, budgeted £0, spent £0. Hobbies, budgeted £190 and spent £855.75. That looks like I went way over, but the difference came out of my pageant sinking fund and money that I got from my pageant sponsor, Vic at the Sanctuary Counselling, who I will link down below. Girl, go get some therapy. We could all benefit from it, am I right? So even though it looks like I've gone massively over on that, I already had that money in a sinking fund little pot ready to spend. Charity, I just put my usual direct debit and then I put some in my sinking funds. Transport, I budgeted £5 and only spent £2.95. Trips, budgeted £0, spent £0. World's biggest lie, technically, because I spent a huge amount of money on my trip in Transylvania. Just like, budget who? But all that came out of my travel sinking fund, not my monthly budget. So technically, yes, I did spend that money, but I'd already put it aside for that. It didn't come out of my monthly budget. Social, I budgeted £260 and spent £213.90. I think that is pretty hefty damage considering I was sick for pretty much the entire month. But most of that was on theatre tickets, Muppets Christmas Carol, the ballet, things I'm paying for now to enjoy at a later date. Drinks, budgeted £10, spent £0 because your girl had the flu. It didn't get my birthday Prosecco. Coffee, budgeted £7 and spent £23.85. I need you to understand that when I went away with my family for the weekend, we went to Center Parks. If you don't know what that is, it's like little lodges in the woods and you're away from everything and everyone, and that's very tranquil, except if you are with your family. So I was getting up every morning and walking like 2 miles to the Starbucks on the other side of the Center Parks to have a little bit of peace and quiet and me time. So yeah, that's that. Personal development, budgeted £0, spent £0 and accounted, i.e. money I literally lost, £47.39. This actually doesn't surprise me this month because I was pulling money out of my travel sinking fund. My dad and I were splitting expenses because I went on my trip to Transylvania with him. Then at the end we had to settle up. He owed me a little bit, I owed him a little bit. And when you're traveling, I feel like you're not documenting your spending on the same level that you are when you're at home, or at least I'm not. I'm spending more because I'm buying all my meals out. I'm going on tours and trips. On a, like today, I probably won't spend anything because I don't see myself leaving the house. But when you're out and about, you're traveling, you're like constantly tapping the card. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that I lost track of a little bit of money between, you know, switching currencies and switching bank accounts and moving money around. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Subscriptions, budgeted £27, as per it was £26.99 standard. And then miscellaneous, budgeted £22 and spent £61.69. What the heck was that even? Would love to know. I spent £35 on a tarot reading, and let me tell you, he just told me that I was my own biggest problem, and I'm like, sir, I know that. What is the solution? So that was a waste of money. And then I bought some little like Halloween stuff, not more pumpkins, just I'm working on a few DIY Halloween projects for my graveyard this year. I needed to get some more paint and that kind of thing. Okay, I walked away with £19.25 left over, so we're gonna put that, let's lie and pretend that we're not already like midway through October. What did I say, £19.25. We're going to put that in to a cash stuffing, and we're going to cash stuff that into holiday sinking fund. There we go. Perfect. Last month was messy in every conceivable way. Physically, I was a mess. Organization wise in my life, I was bip bop bopping all over the place. Money wise, mess. But still walked away with money left over, so there's that. Now let's move into October and take a look at this situation. So I've already started inputting the numbers, so let's first take a little look at what we're working with for the month. So I have my new salary, because it's gone up at like 32 or £33 a month. It's now £1,347 a month. That's for my part-time job. I had £59.19 land in my bank account last month for side hustles, so we got that. And I withdrew £150 out of my business account from my YouTube earnings. That gives us £1,556.19 to work with. Now the first thing I do every month is take out my regular expenses: rent, debt, investments, and then all of my sinking funds. As you can see, rent for this month was £0. My mom very kindly, bless her soul, she said, take that £200 that I usually pay my parents towards bills and like groceries and living here. She said, keep that and put it towards your trip to Poland, which I did. So she's an angel. Then we had £140 that I paid off my debt from last year's Vegas trip. I put £100 into my investments. And then we got the usual, like subscriptions, direct debit for charity. I've got the gym membership, my phone, car, tax, and then all of my different sinking funds. Then I took my £150 that I took out of my business account and I put that into my holiday sinking fund. I took £124 out of my part-time salary and put that into my pageant sinking fund. I took £33, which is what my most recent rise was on my salary, and I put that into my holiday sinking fund. And then the £200 that my mom essentially gave me by saying don't pay rent this month, that went into my holiday sinking fund as well. And then £59.19 going into my sinking fund. Oh, that was from my side hustle income. Then underneath we have either things that I have to pay off of my credit card this month, or things that I know I've got lined up that I will have to pay for, and I don't want to get caught short by not incorporating those into the budget. I know this is a lot and it's very bitty and seems random, like £124 in here, £33 in there. Why? It just is. It just is. It just works for me, and in my head it makes sense, and that means it probably doesn't make sense to anyone else, but for me that all comes together and clicks into place and is the best use of my money right now. Next, let's go ahead and budget out my expenses for the month. Let's see, we only have £297.79 left to work with, but that's way more than I had last month. Groceries, I'm gonna budget 10 again. Excuse me, what? Huh? Oh, I don't think I can, I don't think I can zoom and type. My laptop didn't like that. Eating out, I need to pay my parents back for the Centre Parks food. That was probably easily £60. And let's say another 20 if I go out with my friends. Petrol, we're gonna budget 50. Car maintenance is gonna be the £17.47 for my car insurance plus the 50 that I cash stuff. So that's £67.47. I'm gonna cash stuff £30 for gifts, 35 for contact lenses, 50 for beauty treatments, clothing. I don't think I'm gonna spend anything on clothing this month. Makeup, I've already spent £14.26 on that lip stain, and I foresee myself maybe needing a couple of things. Mascara, definitely. So let's put in 25 for that. Skincare, 0. Hair care, I might try and get my shampoo bar this month if I can get over to Lush. Toiletries, 0. Books, 0. Takeaways, 0. Hobbies, we're already at £140.99. But that's coming out of my pageant sinking fund. Let me pull up my handy calculator and figure out what we're going to be spending on hobbies out of my budget this month. £19.99 for the gym, £31 for Pilates, £30 for dance. I think that's it. £80.99. Let's put 85 just to be on the safe side. Charity, £17.50. Transport, let's put 5. No, I need to go on the train tomorrow. That's going to be 15. Trips, 0. Social, I've already spent 90, so let's put 110. Drinks, I see myself having drinks for, we're doing a Halloween quiz, me and my friends, and I just feel like that warrants a glass of wine. But 18. Coffee, 5, 6, 7. Personal development, 0. Unaccounted, good lord, I hope 0. Subscriptions, 27. And miscellaneous, I'm gonna put in 10 because it's Halloween month. That brings me to a total of £628.97. So by that logic, I should come in under budget if I'm able to stick to that. Okay, we've reached the final station on today's magical mystery tour of my financial situation, which is taking a look at my side hustle income. Now, I'm really pleased with what I was able to earn in September because, like I said, I was away, I had the flu. No effort was made to bring in any side hustle income. And I know I say this a lot, my side hustle income involves very little hustle. I find it very difficult. I think it's like the ADHD. Like I have like the best of intentions and then I can't commit to show up every day and sell things. I also just don't like selling things. I'm not good at it. But it does mean that for me, my side hustle income is very much more like passive income, which is fine. I could probably make a lot more if I was more intentional about it, more consistent with it, but I'm not. But September particularly did not send out a single email to my newsletter. I haven't done that in a while. I'm sorry if you're on that. If you like that, I will get back to it. I promise. Next month. Maybe this month. Have not sent out a single one of those. Sometimes I put affiliate links in those or like mention a digital product. I haven't sent one of those out in months. Didn't make any TikToks promoting my online course or my digital planner or anything like that. Haven't really mentioned any of that stuff here. So I'm really pleased with these numbers because I did nothing. Affiliate links, I made £46.60 in September, which for me is really good. Affiliate income is never like a huge portion of my side hustle income for me because I don't really recommend that many products. I am trying to get better about like if I'm gonna recommend something to find an affiliate link for it, because if I'm already promoting it, then why not make like, I don't know, some of these are like 12 pence. It's not a huge amount of money, but it does add up clearly because £46.60 is nothing to sniff at least for me. KDP, that is selling my book Just As I Am, I made £9.16, and I will mention that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and for the whole of this month, 50% of the profits from my book Just As I Am will be going to Thrive Domestic Abuse Services. So if you've ever considered purchasing a copy of my book, I have one I can show you. Wait, I did have a copy of it right here. Oh, I see it. Here it is right here. It is available on Amazon. I've had such lovely comments recently from people who've read this book and really took a lot from it, and that means the absolute world to me. For reference, this is a book that I wrote throughout the worst mental health period of my life. I had just ended my engagement. I had given up my job for that engagement, and so I had no job. I had to move back in with my parents. It was during the pandemic and I hated myself honestly. I had previously been in an emotionally abusive relationship and I didn't even know who I was at that point, much less feel able to love myself. And so during this process, I was writing for therapeutic reasons, and I took all of that very raw, very, some might say, overly honest feelings and emotions and experiences, and I put it into a book. So that's that. 50% of everything I make this month is going to be donated to charity. I will leave the link in the description box. There is a like Kindle version as well if you prefer that. And thank you to everyone who's been sending me such lovely messages about the book and how much you enjoyed it. Like, truly, that means a lot to me. Digital products, good grief, I made £49.60. I don't even know. I wasn't even talking about them. So that's great. And then teaching resources, you can tell it's the start of the school year because I actually sold some. I made £6.55. And that brings the total to £111.91. I am not feeling bad about that at all. I feel really good about it, actually. So yeah, we're already 8 days into October. More than that by the time this gets edited and you see it. So apologies that it is coming to you late. Better late than never, I think. Maybe, hopefully. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give this video a little thumbs up to let me know. Please remember that you are enough just as you are. I love you so much, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!